now you're 2-0, right? Or is it 3-0?
We are recording. So we're here with Pat McGregor with Good Decks Live. You just won your last round. It was a pretty nice deck, and you're playing an Aggro deck.
Yep.
Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself. I hear that you top-aided Grand Prix Philadelphia, the first Legacy.
I top-aided that when it was like right before anyone knew about Threshold. So I was essentially playing the Canadian tempo thresh way back in the day, and just no one expected to get their spells dazed or anything like that. So that was pretty much the reason I top-aided that.
And so are you? Do you play mostly Eternal formats, Legacy? Or?
I play mostly Legacy. Legacy is my favorite format. Like I started playing Type 2 online and stuff too, but I like Legacy a lot just because there's so many different interactions and things like that, and there's a lot of room to outplay your opponent in Legacy.
So how about we go? I know a lot of people they can't 100%. Some of the glare may not be optimal for them to see your deck, so
just go off card by card.
Card by card with your deck list. So start off there with the.
How many Tarmogoyfs you got there?
4 Tarmogoyfs because he's the best creature in the format, and I'm already playing green. 4 Chalice of the Voids, just because it ruins Threshold or pretty much the entire format if you just on the play go turn 1 Diamond Land Chalice for 1. They can't. Since he's Divining Top, Counterbalance Lock you, they can't Brainstorm, they can't Nimble Mongoose, combo can't go off, Burn can't cast half the spells in the deck, and if you look at the deck, there's no 1-drops in the deck, so you set it to 1 every single game, and it's good enough at doing that you main deck it.
And then after that we got your 4 Dark Confidence over there. I mean, we saw those come to good use.
Yeah, that's in my match against Sam, I pretty much got the stone lucky. I hit 2 spells that cost mana the entire match, and Bob's really good in the deck because there's nothing in the deck that costs more than 3, and the deck's playing 27 lands and 10 spells that cost 0. So most of the time he doesn't do you a lot of damage the whole game. I mean, obviously, I got really lucky.
I like the one time when it actually revealed something.
Yeah, it revealed
it's a fire spout. Like, I'm taking 3 damage, but you're going to lose your board.
I'll take 3 damage and wrath your board, and make sure my Bob doesn't deal me more damage. Bob's another play that the deck is really good if it gets a Mox Diamond draw, because you can just play Bob. Part of the deck is, it's an aggro loam deck, so if you don't get the life from the loam engine running, he's just another amazing draw engine that they have to deal with, and yeah, Bob's just amazing. If you're playing black, you should play him unless you're playing Tombstalkers or things that 10 you.
You got the Singleton Terravore here.
Yeah, the Terravore is actually... The Countryside Crushers are a lot better than the Terravore because he's another card that a lot of people try to hate you out with Relic or Tormod's Crypt or Extirpate, and Terravore just dies if they Relic you. He gets small if they Crypt you or things like that, whereas Countryside Crusher just gets huge in the deck. He interacts with fetch lands, wastelands, cycle lands. He really helps you deck thin because you are playing so many lands in the deck that he helps you hit a loam or one of the business spells. The Singleton Terravore is just kind of an extra crusher. The deck needs another win condition. He's really good late game. He's pretty bad early game because if you don't hit a fetch right away, he's often Grey Ogre with Trample or something like that, especially against like the monocolored decks that don't fetch or do things like that.
And then you have next row, the 4 Life from the Loam.
Yeah, 4 Life from the Loams. It's the best card in the deck. It's the whole point the deck's based around. A lot of versions of this play Burning Wish, and I actually used to play Burning Wish in here, but my friend Chris basically suggested that we take out Burning Wish because you boarded it out a lot of matchups because it's too slow for sideboard cards, and also you have to have like a Wish sideboard, which makes you not be able to have good hate cards like the sideboard that I have is a bunch of 4-ofs and things that are against specific matchups you're bad against. So you play 4 Loams main deck because you're not playing Wish. Seismic Assault is next.
Yeah.
And it's
3 copies of those, right?
3 of that. It's pretty bad to draw 2 of them, but against most of the decks in the format, if you resolve that, they just lose the game. Like against Sam, I just got it to resolve twice, and he didn't have the force, so he's playing a bunch of guys, and guys die to it pretty quickly.
Yeah, the second game you had it out for 1 turn, but it was more than enough to do his damage.
You wrath their board immediately most of the time because they can Crossing Grip it or wipe away. Or I wasn't sure what he was playing, so I just decided to kill all his lords right away to be safe.
And then Mox Diamonds.
Mox Diamonds is the best card. It's the only reason the deck's viable.
How many of those do you have?
Mox Diamonds?
Yeah.
4.
It's just that for some of the viewers, they can't see exactly what the
yeah,
card. So
it's 4 Mox Diamonds. It's
they want to hear exactly what number of each card's in there.
It's the only thing that makes it playable because the rest of the format's very fast. So you have to play. If you get a diamond hand, you're just faster than a lot of the format. You know. Nice. Yeah, me and 2 of my friends are playing the same 75 cards, and we're all 3-0 so far.
You have a Terminate? Is there another one hidden?
No, it's
there?
just a singleton Terminate. It used to be more Terminates, but.
So what was the reasoning behind the Singleton Terminate?
The Singleton Terminate's just kind of a leftover. The deck's still kind of slow, and one of the ways you lose to a lot of decks like Threshold is if they just play a quick Goif and just you aren't able to deal with it. So it's a Singleton answer to that. It's better than another Maelstrom Pulse because you have a lot of 3s in the deck. So yeah, it's just better than a third Pulse.
So speaking of Maelstrom Pulse, you got 2 of those there.
Yeah, that was what when we took out Burning Wish, we needed something that dealt with a lot of things, including counterbalance. And Maelstrom Pulse is really good at dealing with counterbalance or just random enchantments and stuff that you can't deal with. It's good for hitting multiple Goifs or things like that, and it's been pretty impressive so far. I liked it.
Then following 2 Engineered Explosives.
Yeah, Explosives is very good in the deck because it lets you kill a lot of things, especially if you get Chalice for 1 down. Being able to Explosives away a Vial or something like that. Like, Vial's one of the annoying parts about this deck to play against is if they go turn 1 Vial, your LD strategy doesn't work as well, and things like that. And it's just good against Zoo because it takes out multiple guys. It's good against Threshold because you can set it to higher than 2 with only spending 2 colors and kill counterbalance and stuff like that to try and dodge their 2 drops on top.
So now,
quick one run through your lands.
Yeah, we'll just go through the lands real quickly so everyone knows those.
There's 27 lands in the deck right now. There's 8 cycle lands just because you need to find Life from Alone as quick as possible, and once you get it running, you have a draw engine that's ridiculous, and it's part of the deck. Makes it so you can run Mox Diamond because you can't really run Mox Diamond if you're not playing a ton of lands. So 27 lands, it's half lands in the deck pretty much then. You're playing 7 fetch lands just to get your colors, 3 basics. There's only 4 duels in here because you only really need 4 duels. You always would rather draw the fetches just so you can get the life engine running.
What's the dual assortment there? I know there's a Bayou, 2 Taigas, and a Badlands, and it's worked out really well. You don't really need a basic swamp in the deck. There's only 3 basics because you're only casting Bob and Terminate. And then 4 Wastelands just because one of the ways you win in this format is you just waste lock your opponent with Life from Alone. I only have the Singleton copy of...
the Singleton Flora Stronghold too is... it's very good in the deck just because it gives you a late game. It gives you outs because you can run out of win conditions in the deck. If you keep going and your opponent just plays a ton of removal, and it just gives you outs. It lets you every time you return Terravor. That's another reason for the Singleton Terravors. Every time you return it, they can't deal with the late game. It's 20-20 or something like that.
And then maybe run through your sideboard.
Looks like you have certain matchups in mind there.
Yeah, the Curls and Grips are for any land still control deck or any counterbalance control deck. The Ley Lines because pretty much you can't beat Icarid without it. It's also very good against 43 lands in the mirror.
And then the Ley Line of Voids, there's 4 of those, of course, Dredge.
Dredge. I beat Dredge first round because I had the Ley Lines on the board.
Alright, and then you got the Zuron Orb.
Yeah, this deck doesn't have any way to gain life, and it's quick, but it's not quick enough to beat Burn. So you board those in against Zoo or Burn, and it's sad that that's the best life gain. Pretty much in all of Magic in these colors that's cheap, but another thing, it interacts well with life because you can keep getting lands back. It makes it so your Crusher is very difficult to kill because once it's in play, they can't bolt it or burn it in response. You just sack a bunch of lands and gain a bunch of life, and it becomes huge.
Those last 3 in the bottom, we saw you bring those in, those 3 Fire Spouts.
Those are Fire Spouts. It used to be Pyroclasm, but Fire Spout's a lot better because all the Zoo guys have 3 toughness, and it kills all the Merfolk guys. Because if I had Pyroclasm and he had 2 Lords out, I'd just lose. So Fire Spout is very good in the sideboard. And
the last card we're missing is the Thorn.
So it's a 1 Thorn of Amethyst. Yeah, it's a little random. It's just showing that we can have a good matchup versus combo post board by boarding in that 1 card.
It's a 5th chalice.
Yeah, 5th chalice. I mean, you don't want to board in. You can only do so much against combo with a deck that's based on getting back lands every turn, but a lot of times you can beat it just because combo decks play non-basic lands. You can waste them sometimes. Chalice of the Void is a house against them. You just you have to mull into a hand essentially that's not just gonna play some guys, life them low, and then lose to win the combo out.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for stopping in. Good luck in the rest of your
rounds. That was Aggro, so hopefully we'll talk to you again later while you're doing good.
Hopefully. Thank you.
Take care.
That was Pat McGregor with his Aggro Loan.